Have you ever noticed, like, sometimes you can just be feeling kind of off?
Yeah.
Emotionally, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Even if, like, nothing's really wrong mentally.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're not, depressed or anxious or anything.
Right.
But still,
Right.
just off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
This whole, like, fascinating
Yeah.
and kind of confusing
I know it.
relationship between emotional health and mental health.
For sure.
We've got some really good stuff to, like, help guide us today.
Okay.
So we've got excerpts from this article.
Okay.
It's on a mental health treatment center's website.
Okay.
And we've also got this toolkit from the NIH
Right.
all about emotional wellness. And it's interesting because, like,
Yeah.
one of the things that, like, stood out to me was,
Yeah.
did you know that even if you're mentally healthy,
Uh-huh.
you might not be emotionally healthy?
That's true. And that's something that a lot of people grapple with.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first, I guess we
Mhm.
got to, like, define what even is emotional health.
Yeah. Because it's tricky. It's definitely not as easy as
No.
saying, I have the flu or I broke my leg, right?
Right, it's not that clear cut.
Yeah, it's not black and white.
No.
It's very gray.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes it so difficult for people
Yeah.
because they're like, well, I don't know. I feel this way, but I'm not diagnosed with this.
Right, right.
So am I healthy or not?
Yeah. And so this treatment center
Yes.
that we're looking at this article from,
Yeah.
they describe it as, like, the state of our emotions.
Okay.
And it's, like, always changing.
Yeah.
It's not static.
Yeah.
It's influenced by a bunch of things.
Mm.
And they kind of break it down as, like, external stuff.
Sure.
So, like, work stress,
Yeah.
relationships, all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also internal things.
Yes.
Like how we just naturally, as people, process emotions.
Like our personality and how we generally react to things.
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
a dance between what's going on around us and, oh, interesting.
And how we're reacting to it on the inside.
Yeah.
And then you get into this whole other layer of how that then impacts our physical well-being, too.
Okay, so give me an example of that.
So they point out that, good emotional regulation, essentially being able to handle those emotional ups and downs,
Mm.
can actually prevent stress from, like, manifesting in your body.
Oh, interesting. So it's like instead of that stress
Exactly.
turning into a headache or like,
Or insomnia.
yeah, keeping us up all night,
Right.
we're better equipped to like manage it.
That's the goal, I mean. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
never going to be completely free of stress.
Right.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
But it's about riding those waves
Yeah.
without getting, like, totally wiped out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they actually talk about how the benefits extend beyond
Okay.
just avoiding physical discomfort.
Oh, yeah.
It can help us with our relationships, too.
Yeah, because when you're not like
Think about it.
super on edge.
It's easier to communicate.
Right, exactly. And even things like work performance
Okay.
can improve because when we're feeling emotionally stable,
Yeah.
it frees up mental space to actually focus on other things.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So, okay, we kind of have, like, an idea of what emotional health is.
Yeah.
But how is that different from mental health?
Right. Where's the dividing line?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the sources contrast it by looking at like our thoughts and feelings about ourselves.
Okay.
The bigger picture,
Okay.
like our self-esteem,
Oh, yeah.
our typical patterns of, thinking and behaving.
Okay. So it's more like the overall climate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas emotional health is like the day-to-day.
The day-to-day, the moment-to-moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And mental health also, includes things like
Good.
diagnosable conditions.
Right.
Like anxiety, depression.
Okay.
Whereas emotional health is more about your individual experience in
Yeah.
any given moment.
Okay. So it's like you can be mentally healthy.
You can,
Yeah.
but still struggle emotionally.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, which is a point they make in the sources.
Right.
It's not a one-to-one.
Okay.
You could be going through a breakup and feel emotionally drained.
Sure.
Even if you are generally a mentally healthy person.
Right.
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 So that's the key distinction.
So it's like, you're not, sick,
Yeah.
but you're not well.
We're not thriving. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think this highlights why it's important to pay attention
To both.
to both.
Yeah.
The treatment center talks about how each plays a role in a fulfilling life,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not interchangeable.
So it's about recognizing
Yes.
that even if we're mentally healthy,
Yes.
we still have to pay attention
You have to, yeah. You have
to our emotional well-being.
It's an active thing.
And that's where the NIH toolkit comes in. They
Yeah.
talk about this thing, emotional wellness.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of like our ability to handle, like life's curveballs,
Yeah.
the unexpected, being able to adapt to change.
Right.
And they make the point that this isn't about
Yeah.
avoiding difficult emotions,
Right.
but building that resilience.
Oh, I see.
That inner strength.
Yeah. And I think that's so important, especially like nowadays.
Oh, in today's world.
It feels like everything is constantly changing.
It really does.
Like super fast.
Right.
And it's just like constant information coming at us.
Exactly. You're bombarded.
And so like we need
You need that inner strength.
that inner strength.
Inner strength.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Totally. And all those benefits that we were talking about before
Yes.
for emotional health.
Yes.
Like better regulation and all that. The treatment center is saying those apply to mental well-being too.
Absolutely. Things like better emotional regulation, higher self-esteem,
Wow.
even things like motivation and productivity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It all ties in to that overall sense of well-being.
So both emotional and mental health.
Yes.
Super important.
Absolutely.
They're different,
They're different, yeah.
but they're connected.
They're connected. It's nuanced.
Yeah, it is. So how do we actually find like stability?
Right. It's one thing to talk about it,
Yeah.
but how do you put it into practice?
Yeah. Is it just like gritting our teeth and like,
Just pushing through.
yeah, and just like,
White knuckling it.
yeah,
Hoping for the best.
Yeah, is that it?
No. And that's what the treatment center suggests.
Okay.
Like a more holistic approach
Okay.
where you're acknowledging the connection,
Okay.
but recognizing their unique needs.
Okay.
It starts with understanding the difference
Right.
and then developing strategies that address both
So it's less about like fixing things
when they go wrong.
when they go wrong. Yeah. And more about like,
Being proactive,
yeah.
building that resilience in both areas.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So
Yeah.
it's like being proactive
Yes.
versus reactive.
Exactly. And they really stress that this isn't a solo mission.
Okay.
Building that emotional resilience and knowing when to seek professional help is key.
Okay. And I think that's a perfect like segue into
Yeah.
like the more practical
The
stuff.
hands-on. Let's get down to it.
Because like, I'm sure our listener right now is thinking, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But what do I actually do?
How do I apply this?
Yeah, exactly. So where do we start?
Well, for starters,
Yeah.
remember that link we talked about
Okay.
between emotional health and physical well-being?
Oh, yeah.
The treatment center recommends paying attention to the basics.
Right.
Things like eating a balanced diet,
Okay.
getting regular exercise.
Some simple stuff.
Yeah, it might seem simple,
Yeah.
but it can make a huge difference in how we feel.
Yeah, I get that. It's like, you're building a house.
Yeah.
You can't build a stable house
Right.
on like shaky ground.
A great analogy.
Right.
Yeah. So you got to have that solid foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah. Build on.
And speaking of foundations,
Yes.
let's talk about managing stress.
Yes. Let's do it.
Because that impacts both.
Absolutely. It's a big one
It's a big one for both.
for both emotional and mental health.
Yeah. And so what do they say about that?
So the treatment center, along with the NIH toolkit,
Okay.
suggest exploring relaxation techniques.
Okay, so like what kind of
Yeah.
stuff?
Things like yoga, mindfulness.
Okay. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes this stuff feels a little woo-woo to me.
I get it.
Like, I know it's good for you,
Yeah.
but like, what's the actual benefit?
Yeah. What's the science?
Yeah. Especially for like our listeners.
Right. For someone who's more logic driven.
Yeah. Like the learners.
The learner.
What's the takeaway for them?
It's not about, escaping reality or
Mhm.
becoming some kind of Zen master.
Okay.
It's actually about practical tools for
Ah.
regulating our nervous system and calming that constant mental chatter that we all have.
So it's like less about like empty your mind.
Emptying your mind.
Yeah. And more about like giving your brain a break.
Yes, exactly.
The overthinking.
Exactly. And research has shown that this stuff works.
Okay.
Actually has an impact
Yeah.
on both our mental and physical well-being.
Okay.
You can boost our immune system.
Okay, so it's not just about feeling relaxed in the moment.
No, it's not just in the
It's
moment.
about like
Long-term.
benefits
Yeah.
for our overall health.
Got it. And then what about just talking things out?
Oh, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Both sources talk about that.
Yeah.
The importance of open communication
Okay.
with people you trust.
Okay, because sometimes we forget about that, right?
You do.
We get so caught up in
Fissing at ourselves.
Yeah.
We're independent.
yeah, we're like, I can handle this.
Right, I got this. But sometimes You just need
You need to talk it out.
to talk it out.
You need to process it
Yeah.
with somebody else. Sometimes just being heard
Yeah.
and understood
Yeah.
is enough.
Yeah, and that ties into that social connection piece.
It does. That's a huge theme in the NIH toolkit.
Yeah, and they talk about like,
Nurturing those relationships.
yeah, so like spending time with people.
Spending time with people, joining groups, even just,
Yeah, talking to your neighbors.
talking to your neighbors,
Yeah.
like building those connections.
Yeah, it's not just about venting, right?
No. It's about feeling connected,
Yeah.
supported, less alone.
Totally.
And they actually suggest seeking out opportunities
Oh, okay.
to give back to your community.
Interesting.
Volunteering, helping others can
Yeah.
actually boost your own well-being.
So by helping others,
Yeah,
we help ourselves.
it's a win-win. It's great.
I like that.
Yeah. And all of these strategies, like taken together, they're not about putting a Band-Aid on our problems. They're about building that long-term resilience,
That resilience.
that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I like
The
that.
more we incorporate these things into our lives,
Yeah.
the better equipped we are to handle those ups and downs.
So it's like we're building.
You're building your toolkit
Yeah.
for emotional well-being,
Yeah, exactly.
all these different resources that you can draw on
Yeah.
when things inevitably get tough.
Okay, I like that. It's a good analogy.
Mm.
But I think it's important to remember that, like,
Mm.
even with the best toolkit.
Right. Even if you have all the best coping mechanisms,
Yeah.
there are still times when
Yeah.
you're gonna need
You're going to need help,
extra support.
right? Because even the most resilient person
Absolutely.
can hit a wall.
Of course we all do.
Yeah. And knowing when to ask for help.
Is a sign of strength, not weakness.
That's huge.
Huge. Yeah.
So that treatment center
Eh?
that we keep talking about, they offer a bunch of resources.
They do.
For
Like art. From therapy support groups,
Okay.
educational materials.
They really do.
They really put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
They're not just saying, hey, this is important.
Right.
They're like, here are the resources
Right.
to
Exactly.
help you.
Okay. So big takeaway here.
Pay attention to ourselves
Those around us.
and the people around us.
Reach out.
Yeah.
Offer support.
Seeking help is a good thing,
It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
not a bad thing.
Okay, cool. So we've covered a lot just in this first little section of our deep dive today.
We're just getting started.
So we've established that, like, emotional and mental health,
They're intertwined.
they're intertwined.
They're distinct.
They're distinct.
Both are crucial.
Both are crucial. And that there are actually, like, concrete things we can do
Yes, there are.
to improve both.
You're not just stuck.
Yeah, exactly. So there's hope.
There is hope, yeah. There's a lot to uncover, though.
Okay, so what else?
We've been talking a lot about general strategies,
Yeah.
but I want to zoom in
Oh.
on the individual.
Okay.
How can, our listener
Yeah.
apply these insights
Okay.
to their own life?
Okay, so how do we take all of this
Right.
and make it personal?
Because that's where the real transformation happens.
Right.
It can't just be theoretical.
Yeah.
It has to be practical.
I love it. I love it. So,
Well, we're going to dive into that next.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just talking about how,
Yeah.
you can be mentally healthy,
Right.
but still struggling emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
maybe on the surface, everything seems fine, but underneath, there's,
Yeah.
some stress, maybe some burnout,
Yeah.
just not feeling like themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that saying, you can be going through hell, but still get your hair done.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Sometimes we're really good at masking
Yeah.
those internal struggles.
Yeah, even from ourselves.
Even from ourselves, exactly. You might have a stable job, a loving family,
Right.
no major mental health diagnoses, but still
Yeah. But there's still, like, something missing.
something missing. Yeah, like a lack of fulfillment. Maybe
Yeah.
you're constantly on edge, or
Right.
you find it hard to really enjoy things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this distinction between emotional and mental health
Yeah.
becomes really important.
Yeah, because it's not enough to just, like, avoid mental illness.
Right.
Right. We also have to, like, cultivate
Yes.
that sense of emotional well-being.
That's the key. And the treatment center really emphasizes this
Okay.
in their article, that
Yeah.
emotional health is an active pursuit.
Okay.
It's not just the absence
Oh, okay.
of negative feelings.
So it's more than just, like,
Right. It's not just about
waiting for things to go wrong
right and then fixing them.
and then fixing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about, like, building up.
It's about building up those emotional muscles
Yeah, those muscles.
in advance.
Yeah, like training yourself.
Training yourself to be resilient.
To be more resilient. Yeah, okay, I like that.
It's like having a fitness routine
Okay.
for your emotions.
Okay, I like that. So no more like emotional burpees.
No emotional burpees, I promise you that.
Okay, good.
But it does start with those
Right.
foundational habits that we talked about.
Okay.
Nourishing your body with a balanced diet,
Oh, yeah.
getting regular exercise.
Yeah.
Those things aren't just good for our physical health.
Right.
They directly impact
Yeah.
our mood, our energy levels.
So when we like fuel ourselves well.
Yeah, you're giving your body
Yeah.
and mind what they need to thrive.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
If you're running on fumes,
Right.
both physically and mentally, it's much harder to deal with
Right.
stressful situations, manage difficult emotions.
Right.
But when you're taking care of those basic needs,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for success.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like if you're trying to run a marathon
Yeah.
without training or, eating right,
Right. You're not going to make it very far.
you're going to crash and burn.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we gotta lay that
None
groundwork,
of that groundwork.
the foundation.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. And then beyond that, like what else? What do they say?
Well, now we get into actively managing stress,
Okay.
which both sources, the treatment center
Yeah.
and the NIH toolkit, talk about.
Okay.
And they really suggest exploring relaxation techniques.
Okay. Like what? Like yoga, mindfulness.
Yoga, mindfulness, breathing exercises.
Okay. I got to be honest. I've heard a lot about those,
Yeah,
and sometimes I'm just like, does it really work?
I get it. Sometimes they seem a little woo-woo.
Yeah.
But it's important to, demystify them.
Okay. Yeah. Break it down.
They're not about escaping reality or
Yeah.
becoming like some Zen master.
Right.
It's about having practical tools
Okay.
to regulate your nervous system
Okay.
and calm that constant mental chatter that we all have.
Yeah.
So it's less about emptying your mind
Right.
and more about giving your brain a break from overthinking.
Yeah.
And like I said, research shows that it works.
Okay.
It can actually reduce stress hormones.
So there's science behind it.
There is.
Yeah.
Improved sleep boosts your immune system,
Okay. So it's not just about feeling relaxed
not just in the moment.
in the moment. Yeah.
It's about
those long-term
those long-term effects.
benefits for your overall health.
Got it. Okay. And what about talking things out, like we were saying before?
Oh, that's huge too. Both sources emphasize that.
Yeah.
Open communication with loved ones.
Okay, because sometimes we just forget to do that. We do. We get so caught up in
Yeah.
trying to fix things ourselves.
If you think we can handle it.
We're independent. We're strong.
Yeah, like I got this.
I got this. But sometimes you just need
Sometimes you just need.
to talk it out, process it with somebody else.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes just being heard and understood is enough.
Yeah. And that ties into the whole social connection thing,
It
right?
does, yeah. And the NIH toolkit, that's a huge theme for them.
Yeah. So they're saying nurture those relationships.
Nurture them, yeah. Spend time with people, join groups.
Oh, yeah.
Even just talking to your neighbors.
Yeah.
Build those connections. It's not about venting.
Right.
It's about feeling connected, supported,
Yeah.
less alone.
Totally. And they even say, look
Yeah.
for opportunities
Yeah, to give back.
to give back to your community.
Dual volunteering, helping others.
By helping others,
It can actually boost your own well-being.
we help ourselves.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. It's a win-win. I like that.
And all these things, when you put them together,
Yeah.
it's not about putting a Band-Aid on the problem.
Right.
It's about building that long-term resilience.
Yeah, that resilience.
we keep talking about.
Okay.
The more we incorporate these things,
Yeah.
the better equipped we are
To handle it all.
to handle it all. Exactly.
Okay. So it's like we're building,
Yeah, you're building your toolkit
our toolkit for emotional well-being.
for emotional well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these different resources you
Yeah.
can draw on when things get tough.
Okay, but I think it's important to remember that even with the best toolkit,
Oh, absolutely.
even if you got all the tools,
Even if you're doing all the things.
sometimes you still need help.
Yeah, right.
You can hit a wall sometimes.
Yeah, even the most resilient person.
Of course, we all do.
You can only handle so much.
Exactly.
And knowing when to ask for help
Is so important.
is huge.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
Okay. And this treatment center
Yes. That we keep talking about.
Yeah, they offer a bunch of different resources
Yeah.
to help with that.
Okay.
Therapy, support groups,
Okay.
educational materials, online tools.
Okay.
Like, they really walk the walk.
Yeah, I was going to say they're really putting their money
They are.
where their mouth is.
They're not just talking the talk.
Yeah, they're saying this is important.
This is important. Here are the resources
And here's how
to actually get help.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Okay. So the big takeaway here,
Yeah.
pay attention to yourself and to those around you.
And if you see those signs,
If you see those signs,
reach out.
reach out, offer support.
Offer support.
Getting help is a good thing.
A good thing, yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Okay, cool. So we talked about how it's important to take care of both our emotional and mental health.
Yeah.
We talk about some things we can do
Some practical strategies
to actually, like,
put it into practice.
improve both.
Yeah, it's not hopeless. There's a lot we can do.
Yeah, there's hope.
There's a lot we can do. But we've been focusing a lot on
Okay.
like, general strategies, and I kind of want to zoom in a bit.
Okay.
How can our listener, the learner,
Yes.
apply this to their own life?
Okay, I like that. So how do we take all this info
Right.
and make it personal?
Because that's where the real transformation happens.
Yeah, it can't just be theoretical.
It can't. It has to be practical.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we've spent like this whole deep dive,
Yeah.
exploring emotional and mental health.
Right, and how they're different.
Yeah, how they're different, but also connected.
But they're connected.
Yeah.
And like we've even gotten into some, practical stuff.
How to.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
great.
Ways to like boost both. But I'm kind of curious now, like, how do we actually take all this
Right.
and make it work for like us specifically?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
Just like our fingerprints are unique.
Yeah.
Our paths to emotional and mental well-being are unique too.
So it's less like following a recipe.
Yes.
And more like becoming our own
Exactly.
emotional scientists.
I love that. It all starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Becoming like a keen observer
Okay.
of your own inner world.
Okay. So how do we do that?
Pay attention to your patterns.
Okay.
Like, what are your triggers?
Okay.
Both positive and negative.
Okay.
What sends your stress levels through the roof?
So figure out what makes us tick.
Exactly. What makes you tick?
Okay.
And once you have that picture
Yeah.
of your own unique landscape,
Yeah.
then you can start experimenting with those strategies we talked about.
Right. Okay.
Does yoga actually help you unwind?
Yeah.
Or does it make you more frustrated?
Right.
Does talking to a friend make you feel lighter?
Yeah.
Or do you need some solo time?
Right. There's no right or wrong answer.
There's no right or wrong.
It's about like what works
What works for you?
for you.
For you. It's personal.
Okay. So it's like creating a personalized emotional toolkit.
A personalized emotional toolkit.
Okay. And it's filled with things
Does that actually make a difference?
that work for you.
For you. Exactly. And remember,
Yeah.
this is an ongoing process.
Okay. So it's not like a one-time fix.
No, it's a journey.
Okay.
Just like our physical health.
Yeah.
It ebbs and flows.
Yeah. That's true.
So be kind to yourself
Okay.
and keep experimenting.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to seek guidance
Okay.
along the way.
Okay. So like what, like a therapist or?
A therapist, a mentor, a trusted friend,
Okay.
even a book or a podcast.
Okay. So like resources.
Resources that resonate with you, because sometimes
Yeah.
you need a little help navigating
Yeah, for sure.
those trickier parts.
Yeah. And speaking of connection, like,
Yeah.
how do you think this new understanding of like emotional and mental health might change how we interact with others?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, for me, I think it makes me like a lot more empathetic.
Okay. Yeah.
Just knowing that everyone's kind of dealing
Yeah.
with their own stuff.
Right. Even if we don't see it.
Even if you can't see it.
Yeah.
It makes me less judgmental.
I love that. It shifts our perspective.
Yeah.
From criticism to curiosity.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping to conclusions about someone's behavior,
Yeah.
we can start asking, like, what might be going on for them?
Yeah, exactly.
journey.
Because we're all in this together, right?
We are.
Everyone's dealing with their own
Everyone has their own challenges.
challenges, yeah.
And triumphs.
And triumphs, yeah.
It's the human experience.
Yeah, and that's what I find so hopeful
Yeah.
about all of this.
Me too.
By like, understanding this more.
Yeah.
We're not just like improving our own lives.
Right.
We're contributing to like a kinder.
Kinder, more compassionate world.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So as you continue on this journey,
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
your emotional and mental well-being.
Yeah.
They're worthy of your time and attention.
Okay.
Don't underestimate their power.
Yeah. And like we've been saying, don't be afraid
Yes.
to reach out
Reach out when you need it.
for support.
We all do sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
You're not alone on this path.
Okay, well, that about wraps up our
Yeah.
deep dive into emotional and mental health.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we hope this has been, like,
Helpful.
helpful for you.
Yeah, and giving you some insights.
Yeah.
And spark some curiosity.
About your own, like, inner world.
Yeah.
Keep learning. Keep growing.
Keep taking care of yourselves.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
keep those conversations going.
Because the more we talk about it,
The more we talk about it.
the less stigma there is. The more support we can offer each other.
That's it.
Awesome. We'll see you on our next
Deep dive.
Deep Dive.